Hi, I'm Tim, and I've been an HVAC professional for over 25 years. I'm also a brand ambassador for Haven. Today I'm going to show you how to install the Haven Central Air Monitor as a part of an active air management solution for your residential HVAC customers. This video is for HVAC and related professionals. The Haven products require certain industry expertise and should not be installed by homeowners themselves. For written instructions, you can check out the Haven Pro Support Center online. If you need help on an installation you're doing right now, call the Pro Support line for assistance. If this is your first time doing an installation, it's highly recommended to watch the introductory video to learn about what the monitor monitors, duct and HVAC system compatibility, tips that'll help you and your customer through the Haven installation smoothly, optional tools and materials that we recommend having on hand, and the software that you'll need during the Wi-Fi commissioning process and post-installation. If this isn't your first time and you want to skip to the install step, stay with me. The whole process should take about 15 to 30 minutes. You'll need to validate that your installation location is in the return duct at least 2 feet before the filter of the HVAC system, within range of the home's Wi-Fi network, ideally away from duct bends and other obstructions, and not in the same location as any ambient light sources like UV lights. It is recommended to take a reading on your anemometer to ensure that the fan speed is able to reach 80 feet per minute or 0.4 meters per second. Make a small hole in the duct close to where you want to install the monitor. Doing this now with the air handler fan on can help you confirm that you're achieving the minimum air velocity. Otherwise, you may want to try another location. If pressure is too high, the system will likely have airflow problems that need to be addressed before completing the installation. Depending on what version you have, you may have slightly different parts included. Inside version 1, you'll have a quick start guide, an alignment plate, Wago lever nuts, a reset pin, gaskets, a mounting plate, 2 sheet metal screws, and the monitor itself. Inside version 2, there's no longer the need for the metal alignment plate or gaskets. You'll also have toggle bulbs. You'll need to have the following tools on hand: a drill, a 1.5 inch hole saw for flat ductwork or a 2 inch hole saw for round ductwork, a small slotted screwdriver, a 1/4 inch hex bit, wire strippers, and a length of 2 wire solid conductor cable, but any thermostat wire will work. For the newer version of the mounting plate, you'll only need the 2 inch hole saw. You'll have a couple of options for powering the monitor, either off the RNC terminals from the air handler control board or using a dedicated power supply. For this, you can install a secondary 24 volt inline transformer or use a wall plug transformer. The monitor can accept anywhere from 9 to 30 volts AC or DC. Commissioning Haven devices to Wi-Fi after the physical installation is a crucial step and must be completed before you leave the home. This requires you to first create a free Haven Pro account in the Pro portal or the Haven IQ mobile app. The link to the app can be found in the card included in the box. You can use your email with a password or log in using your existing Facebook, Google, Apple, or LinkedIn accounts. Remember which login method you use during sign up to ensure that you always have access to your Haven data and settings. Once you're at the customer's home and ready to perform an install, you want to make sure that you have the customer's information on hand, such as their email address, street address, phone number, and Wi-Fi information. Now it's time to perform the install. If you're adding an inline transformer or using the RNC terminals on the air handler, first, turn off power to the air handler before making any modifications. Remove the door and locate your power source, and do not energize the power until both sides of the circuit are connected. Prep your length of wire from the power source to the monitor and leave length for a service loop. If you're using a knockout hole or making a new hole for the wires, make sure you add a grommet or cable gland to prevent any air leakage. In this case, we're going to use the connector and this flexible conduit that's already installed for aesthetic purposes. Now strip out 2 inches from the cable jacket and 1 inch of wire insulation to prep the connection to the power source. Here you can use either the Wago lever nuts and splice the monitor power cable into the 24-volt transformer low side, or if you're planning to use the R and C terminals for power, you can directly connect the terminals like you would a thermostat. You can also use a wall plug transformer if you don't want to power the monitor from the air handler. After connecting the power source, strip back 2 inches of jacket and half an inch of insulation on the monitor side of the wire. You don't have to worry about which wire goes into which connector. The cables are reversible for both AC and DC power. Now take the monitor and insert the exposed wire into the power terminals on the bottom of the device. Use your slotted screwdriver to tighten the wires and perform a quick pull test to confirm that the wires are secure. Now we cut our hole in the ductwork. As mentioned, if you have an original mounting plate, cut a 1.5 inch hole for flat ductwork or a 2 inch hole for round ductwork. If you have version 2 of the mounting plate, you can use a 2 inch hole saw for any duct type. Once you're done cutting the hole, be sure to fish out any metal chunks out of the ductwork so they don't get stuck in the filter or air handler. If your monitor came with a metal alignment plate, now's the time to get it out. This is mainly designed for ductboard installs and is an optional add-on for metal ductwork. It's recommended for all installs since it provides position markings that are useful during the airflow validation process, as well as extra sealing. Peel off the backing and position the alignment plate perpendicular to the airflow on the ductwork. Grab the plastic mounting plate from the box and apply the small gasket for flat ductwork or the large gasket for round ductwork. Insert the monitor probe into the mounting plate until you hear a faint click. This ensures that the particle sensor will activate once connected. Now, gently place the monitor into the hole in the duct and loosely position it so that the arrows point in the direction of airflow. Do not secure the screws at this point. If you have version 2, you can disregard the alignment plate steps and secure the mounting plate to the duct at this point with the included screws or toggle bolts, ensuring the logo is level. Now is the time to activate the power to the monitor and the air handler, and we'll need airflow in the duct for the next step. The monitor's LED should be solid blue. If the LED isn't solid blue at this point, please refer to the monitor LED status video to learn how to reset it back to factory default states. Open up your phone's settings and make sure you've got Bluetooth turned on. You'll need this to connect to the Haven devices later in the process. Open the Haven IEQ app on your phone, go to the menu, and select Haven Pro. Depending on how you're installing Haven, you have several options here. We're going to go through the monitor-only install in this video by selecting Connect a Device. The automation templates walk you through the monitor installation too. Those have extra steps to gather the settings for your controller as well. We'll go through the templates in other videos. When searching for the customer by their email, you'll either be adding the monitor to an existing customer's address, or you'll input the information for a new address. You can manually enter the Wi-Fi info now, but it's easier to do this later when the app shows the list of available networks. Follow the steps to add details about the zone you're installing in, the ductwork, filter, etc. When you arrive at the position step, the app will search for any powered Haven devices. Make sure you've activated the power source for the device at this point. The app should find and connect to the serial number of the device and remind you that the air handler needs to be on with the probe in position in the ductwork for the next step. If you have version 1, the non-rotating mounting plate, the app will prompt you to slowly rotate the mounting plate during the airflow optimization step, testing out a few different positions that are marked in the alignment plate. If you have the rotating mounting plate, it should be secured already at this point. You can simply pull down the locking tab and rotate the probe to match the instructions on the app. This step helps to determine the optimal angle for airflow, which is required for accurate particle readings. Remember that the ideal airflow is above 0.4 meters per second or 80 feet per minute. If you can't achieve that in the app, Try rotating the monitor a little bit more during the airflow validation process, or you may have to move the monitor to a different position in the ductwork. If you have the non-rotating version, once you find your final position, put down your phone and secure the screws in place. If you have the rotating version, you can now push up the tab into this locked position to secure. If you manually entered the Wi-Fi information previously, the monitor will now connect to the homeowner's Wi-Fi as long as there weren't any typos. Otherwise, select the homeowner's network and then enter the password. It's likely that the device will need a firmware update once it's connected to the network. This can take several minutes and sometimes requires you to perform a soft reset. If the LED continues to flash blue and green for a long time, make sure to have a reset pin handy. Once the OTA update is complete, the LED will be solid green. If there's an aqua flash every minute, that means that the device has successfully connected to Wi-Fi and the installation is complete. Without the aqua flash, you will need to perform a soft reset. Locate the small hole to the left of the antenna, insert the pin, and click the reset button once. If there is a purple blink, it means that the monitor is not yet fully inserted into the mounting plate. So make sure that the monitor clicks into position before you continue. Now the monitor will perform a self-assessment test to make sure that it's fully operational before you leave the home. This requires a blower fan to be on and circulating airflow for a few minutes. During this test, the app will ask a few final questions about the install, then provide either a confirmation of the successful installation or confirm what needs to be changed before leaving the customer's home. Remember that if you run into any issues during installation, you can connect with the Haven support team through phone or email. They're there to make sure that you and your customers receive an excellent experience while turning their home into a Haven. You'll have the option to calibrate the relative humidity and temperature readings while you're at the home to make sure that the Haven has the most precise baseline to use going forward. If you have a psychrometer with you, you can insert it into the small hole that you drilled earlier to test the airflow and pressure. It's recommended to use induct measurements instead of those that would be shown at the thermostat. The monitor requires airflow to sample the home's air accurately, so connecting a Haven controller to activate the air handler's blower fan is recommended. This will allow you to set regular activation intervals throughout the day. Your customer will also be able to edit that circulation schedule later via the app if desired. The controller install video guide will be linked in the notes below. If you aren't installing a controller right away, be sure to set the thermostat to turn on the blower fan at regular intervals throughout the day before leaving the customer's home. At least 5 to 10 minutes per hour is recommended. A few last things to cover before you leave the home. Even though your customer will receive a Haven introductory email a few hours after the install to help them to get started, it's a good idea to give them the included quick start guide and a brief tutorial on how to use a Haven IAQ app. Make sure that they use the same email address to log in that you selected at the beginning of the installation process. The live data should be available within 5 minutes of completing the self-assessment test. However, the Haven score won't be shown for a full week to make sure that the Haven has fully adjusted to the conditions of the home first. You can also encourage the homeowner to test their new indoor air quality monitor by creating air quality events in the home, such as making popcorn, mopping the floors with a cleaning agent, or by cooking a meal on the stove without turning the hood fan on. That way they can get a sense of how the monitor reacts in real time to their everyday activities. Seeing is believing. Once you've left the home, you can view your customer's IAQ information on the Haven Pro Portal with the same Pro account that you use for the install in the mobile app. The Pro Portal is the primary interface that Haven has designed to help pros to manage their fleet of Haven customers remotely. The Pro Portal is an ideal supplement for service maintenance contracts and professional IAQ reports, and it can be exported and shared with the homeowner to assist in solving air quality issues. Haven always wants to hear from you and hear your feedback on the product and install process. So please let them know if you have any issues or ideas for improvements. Thanks for watching, and breathe better. Here we go. Hi, I'm Tim. Something credible about the industry. All right. Hi, I'm Kevin Hart, and I've been in the HVAC industry now. Okay, seriously now.